This is an SWX local sports presentation. The Eastern Washington University Eagles take on the Gonzaga Bulldogs. SWX college basketball starts right now.
It's a chilly night in Cheney, so we found our way inside Reese Court, and we've got a great basketball game on hand for you here on SWX. Two teams picked to win their conference. Gonzaga 6-2, Eastern Washington 4-1. They will meet tonight at the home of the Eagles. Hi everybody, joined by former Gonzaga player and coach Michelle Clark. I'm Austin Getz. Michelle, you talk about two great teams. That's what these two teams have, and it comes down to depth. It's going to be a depth battle for Eastern Washington as they go up against Yvonne Ejim, but they have the players to stand up.
Absolutely, Austin. They do have the players to stand up. They've got a good one in Buckley, a 6'1 senior, 9.4 points per game, 5.8 rebounds. She's doing everything with that beautiful left hand for them, and she's going to give Yvonne a run for her money, as well as Knowles, another 6'1 senior, 7.2 points per game, 6.2 on the rebounds, and it's going to be a battle of the bigs, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, we also got some good guards to mix in as well. Let's get you tonight's keys to the game, which are brought to you by Northern Quest Resort and Casino, the Pacific Northwest's largest casino resort featuring 442 rooms, 24/7 Vegas-style gaming, and live entertainment. Northern Quest, yes, the best.
Yes, keys to the game. For Gonzaga, it's going to be execute on the road. Do what they do best. They've already proven they're scoring, averaging 80 points a game. They're doing a good job there. They need to continue that on the road. And then controlling the tempo, both offensively and defensively. Eastern's going to look to run, and Gonzaga needs to do a good job of getting back in that transition defense and controlling the tempo. On the Eastern side, they need to play big, right? Yvonne Ejim, she's a big task, but I think they've got the players to do that, and that's getting hands in those passing lanes, watching those backdoor cuts, and being big. And the second one is going to be out-rebounding Gonzaga. Eastern needs to do a good job every single possession, only allowing Gonzaga one shot, and then crashing those boards on the offensive glass as well.
Well, we talked about these two teams, both picked to win their conference. Of course, Gonzaga in the West Coast Conference, Eastern Washington in the Big Sky. They're living up to that hype so far. Like we said, Eastern Washington just one loss on the season. Gonzaga coming in with 2 losses, but they've played double the games nearly. Gonzaga's last loss coming to number 20 Louisville. We're ready to go here at Reese Court as these two teams will meet up. Good game for black and white television as it is Gonzaga in their black road uniforms, Eastern Washington in their home whites. Again, Austin Getz, Michelle Clark joining you, and we're glad you're with us here on SWX as we got a little inland northwest battle. Two teams less than 20 miles apart, meeting for the first time in 2 seasons. Little do-si-do at midcourt, and we are underway in Cheney. It'll be Gonzaga with the first possession. Kaylin Trong brings it over the timeline, the reigning player of the year in the West Coast Conference. Her twin sister Kaylee with it now. They're trying to feed Ejim. Ball tipped away from a moment, but Yvonne able to track it down. Swings it quickly into the corner. There's Kaylin Trong with the first points of the night. A triple from the corner.
Hey, you know, even though that ended up in a Gonzaga 3-point shot there, a great defensive play by Eastern. They knew the assignment. They're doubling Yvonne, and then their rotations looked really good. They were just kind of a little too short out on that closeout for the shot.
Unforced error there as Eastern Washington will turn the ball over. Gonzaga will bring it up, leading by 3 here. Half a minute, and we'll get you the Gonzaga starting lineup. Of course, we talked about the Trongs, Kaylin and Kaylee. Brenna Maxwell out there as well, Eliza Hollingsworth, and Yvonne Ejim. Typical starting 5. Those 5 have started every game this season, and in fact, we're starting a lot of last season after Kaylee Trong returned from injury. Was only able to play 10 games last year, but made the most of it. Looked at a shot in the corner, now she'll take it. That's actually Kaylin again, and she drills it. And it's a long 2, so a 5-0 lead for Gonzaga as we start this game.
That was a nice big player move by the senior, Kaylin.
And we're going to get a foul here. That foul goes against Kaylee. Get a look at Eastern starters, the same starting lineup for that unit as well. Jamie Loetta, Jaleesa Lawrence, Aaliyah Alexander, Jacinta Buckley, and Millie Knowles. Shot up, no good. Gonzaga comes away. Looking to start this game on a run as it'll be Trong across the timeline over to the other Trong. That 3 rattles out. Rebound down by Loetta. Jamie's going to bring it quickly to the other end. Loetta into the corner. That's Aaliyah Alexander with it now. Alexander has it ripped out of her hands as she goes through the paint. Gonzaga comes away with another steal. And nobody got back. Yvonne Ejim, an easy 2, 7-0 Bulldogs.
You know, something Eastern's going to need to be aware of as they're honing in on Ejim inside. You know, Gonzaga's averaging 40% from beyond the three-point arc. They're getting 9 a game. They're going to have to continue to close out hard on those shooters and make sure that they don't get a second look.
Foul, can't get the roll, but going to the line will be Jaleesa Lawrence.
And then that on the other end is what Gonzaga needs to be aware of, those fouls. Eastern is super aggressive. They're going to get to the rim. They're going to try to draw those fouls. Yvonne needs to make sure she stays out of foul trouble, and everybody else, and make sure that, you know, they don't continue to send Eastern to the line over and over tonight.
It's been a good start to the year for Jaleesa Lawrence in the first game of the year against Southern Utah. Utah, tied her career high with 23 points. Hit the first free throw. Second one's good as well. Eastern Washington on the board. They've cut the lead to 5 here early. Kaylin Trong with it right in front of the Eastern Washington bench. Now there's Eliza Hollingsworth with it now. Hollingsworth trying to drive. Buckley turns her away. Ejim, a little up and under fake. Can't quite get it. Buckley the rebound. Early goings here in Cheney. Gonzaga with an early lead. As here's Millie Knowles, 6th year in the program for her. Loetta navigates a screen, kicks it into the corner. Open shot on the way, rattles out. No good from Lawrence that time. Gonzaga looking to run. Kaylee Trong's outnumbered. She'll pull up. Kick it back out. Kaylin lines up a triple. Got him. Kaylin Trong. Hot start. Gonzaga already up 10-2. Trong with 8 points.
I'll be interested to see if Eastern adjusts some of their defensive tactics here after, you know, 3 quick threes.
Looking for a 3 herself was Loetta. No good. Yvonne Ejim comes down with the rebound. Gonzaga in no real hurry here. Controlling the pace early. Here's Brenna Maxwell with it now. Maxwell drives, pull up, mid-range jumper. Little long. Alexander the rebound. Good crowd is packed here into Reese Court, as you'd imagine, with Gonzaga being just 20 minutes away. A 50-50 split between fans wearing red and fans wearing blue. Hollingsworth trying to get it into Ejim. Pass a little high and out of bounds. You can see that Eastern Washington is trying their hardest to deny her the basketball.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of fronting Ejim, and then they show that backside help with either Knowles or Buckley, and it's hard, you know. Ejim is having to work overtime to try to just get a position to receive the basketball.
Mount Hybens and Callie Stokes check into the game for Gonzaga. And Jadia Martin on the floor for the first time for Eastern. Just had it for a minute. As Millie Knowles will try and drive on Hybens, puts it up and scores. And then a steal. And Eastern Washington looking to capitalize. Loetta wanted a foul, couldn't get one. 6-point lead early for Gonzaga here in Cheney. Here's Ejim on the arc. Hybens, free throw line, kicks it quickly into the corner. Quick release from Maxwell, she knocks it down.
They're gonna get those. Maxwell's is a great shooter from the outside. Eastern just needs to hedge a little bit more because they've proven to make the 3.
Jadia Martin the answer. The reigning Big Sky Conference freshman of the year, I should say 2 seasons ago, with her first triple. Eastern Washington hanging in there, down just 6, about halfway through this first quarter. Yvonne Ejim faces up on Millie Knowles. Double team comes, tipped away, she's able to get it back, and it's Hybens. Point blank miss, rebound corralled by Knowles. It goes out of bounds. This will be Eastern Washington basketball. Take a break, a fun start. Gonzaga leading 13-7. We'll have more from Reese Court right around the corner. Oh, we're still here, excuse us. Action continuing here in Cheney. Loetta with it now. Ooh, great pass, and Knowles takes advantage with the left-hand layup off the glass.
That was a beautiful pass, a drive and kick from underneath the rim from Loetta to Knowles and beautifully executed by Knowles.
Well, you talk about her assist to turnover ratio last year was more than 2-to-1. That was the second best single season assist to turnover ratio in Eagle history. She passes well and she takes care of the basketball. Yvonne Ejim had that one tipped out of her hands. There's a fight for it under the basket, and Eastern Washington comes away trailing just 4.
I mean, are we really surprised by Luetta? She comes from a long string of good players.
Absolutely. Here's a pass inside to Knowles. Kicks it back out. Buckley lines up a 3. Off the iron, gets her own rebound, puts it back up, nearly got it to go.
Gotta love the effort, though. That's exactly what Eastern needs to do, is on those rebounds, right? They gotta get out rebound Gonzaga if they want to stay in the game.
Gonzaga on a bit of a drought here. Hybens, they're trying to get Yvonne in the post position. Eastern doing a good job after being burned by it early. Here's Callie Stokes with it now, quickly over to Ejim, and now Kaylin Trong. Trong probing the defense, tries to feed it into Ejim, and that's a turnover. And that will be a commercial break for us here. We'll be back. Eastern Washington closing in. Gonzaga still up early. College basketball on SWX is sponsored in part by ServPro of Spokane County. If your home or business is ever damaged by fire, water, or an unexpected incident, trust the pros at ServPro of Spokane County to make like it never even happened happen. Back here in Cheney, fun start. Gonzaga leading 13-9, but Eastern Washington, Michelle, seems to have the momentum right now, and if they hadn't missed a couple of real good looks, might have tied or taken the lead in this game.
Yeah, Austin, they've come out with some really, really good energy. That's exactly what you want to see. And, you know, missing a couple of those bunnies, those go in, and it's a tighter game.
Fresh into the game is Alexis Pettis as she's tied up in the corner. Eastern will retain possession here. The scoring drought for Gonzaga goes back more than 2 minutes now. They've been stuck on 13. They raced out to a 7-0 lead. Now here we've got a foul that'll send Pettis to the line. Or excuse me, Alexander.
And Austin, I'll say it again, that's exactly what Gonzaga needs to just be aware of. You know, Eastern has done such a great job already early getting to the rim and being aggressive and getting to the foul line. Gonzaga's got to watch those fouls and make sure that they're not tacking up those fouls, you know, to finish out this first quarter.
Talk about Alexander, off to a just sizzling start, averaging close to 17 points per game, leading the Eagles. And we were talking about that experience. This is now the 53rd start of her career. She's started all but one game she's played in her career. Pass to the corner. Kaylee Trong with it now. There's Hybens. Hybens. Still 12 seconds here on the shot clock. Kaylin Trong gets past her defender. Mid-range jumper is good, and that breaks the drought for Gonzaga. Pushes the lead back out to a 2-possession game.
And that's what's nice when you hit a couple threes. If you just fake that ball up, they're flying past you to try to block it.
10 points already for Kaylin Trong. Oh, great feed inside. Millie Knowles in traffic. Kicks it back out. Lines up the 3. Martin. That one's no good. Knowles an offensive board. And then we'll have a foul on the inside. So Millie Knowles going to work in the paint. Yeah,
Eastern's doing all the right things. They're attacking the glass. That's like what, their third offensive rebound. Knowles doing a great job pursuing the basketball and giving themselves a second, third chance possession look.
And that's the second foul on Kaylee Trong. She'll go to the bench for a while. 2.5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Tight game. There's Pettis with it now. Luetta takes back over. Luetta gets a screen. Kicks it over. Pettis for 3. Won't go. Rebound by Callie Stokes. Kaylin Trong brings it across. Double team coming. Swinging it around. There's Stokes. Stokes now over to Esther Little, who's in the game for the first time. Esther drives, puts it up off the side of the backboard. Another stop for the Eagles, who have really cooled Gonzaga off outside of Kaylin Trong. Luetta end-to-end, puts it up with the left hand, won't go. Hybens the rebound. Now Stokes the other way for Gonzaga. Callie Stokes drives, and she'll be fouled on her way there. And count the basket.
Great recognition by Kelly Stokes to see, hey, there's an opportunity break here, leaning in, drawing the foul, and able to convert to 2 points.
Here you get a look at it as she drove in on Buckley and got that shot up just in time. 3-point play possibility from the redshirt sophomore from Redondo Beach. Played in 29 games last year and was able to crack the West Coast Conference all-freshman team in her first season at Gonzaga. Just like that, it's back to a 7-point advantage for the visitors from Spokane. Pettis drives, picks up her dribble, goes back to Loetta. Got away from her for a minute, but she tracks it down. 10 seconds left on the shot clock here, about a minute and a half left in the first quarter. Loetta off a screen, pass deflected and intercepted by Hollingsworth. Gonzaga with active hands in the lane. Trying to thread the needle into Ejim. It's out of bounds off of Gonzaga, and that will be Eastern basketball.
And we're seeing a little bit of, a lot of back and forth here between both teams, Eastern and Gonzaga getting up and down the court. A little bit of some ball handling fumbles there, but good credit to both the teams. They can get out and run and stay aggressive.
Gonzaga's been a bit sloppy with the basketball. 4 turnovers here in the first quarter. Martin, a 3 on the way. No hesitation from Jadia Martin.
That was a good-looking shot by Martin. Her feet were set. I think she knew that ball was going in before it even left her hands.
Gonzaga looking for an answer here as Callie Stokes takes a ball screen from Yvonne Ejim. Good defense out there on the perimeter by Eastern again. Under a minute to go here in the first quarter. 10 seconds left on the shot clock for Gonzaga. Trong, who's had a great start. Now Ejim dumps it inside. Hollingsworth catches it with one hand and is able to get it to go.
Hey, that's their bread and butter right now. Well, all season, right? And that's the first time they've gotten a high-low look.
Pass over Buckley, guarded by Ejim. Puts it up. It'll go off the side. No, Ejim picks up the foul. Von Ejim can't believe it. But this is going to send Jacinta Buckley to the line. Get a look at the foul here.
That's a tough call, kind of a hard angle. I couldn't tell if she actually did get a hand on her arm or not.
So now you got Jacinta Buckley here in her 3rd year at Eastern Washington after starting her career at UNLV. Honorable mention to the Big Sky Conference all-conference team last year. Free throws on the way, she splits them. So Gonzaga leading by 5 here, have the chance for the last possession as the shot clock has been turned off at what's been a really fun first quarter.
Really fun. I mean, both teams getting after it. Gonzaga hitting them early with those threes, but Eastern has really honed in their defense.
Taylin Trong, a rare miss. 3 seconds left. Eastern Washington trying to get it up. Here's Alexander at the horn. It goes! Count the basket! Aaliyah Alexander sends us into a break with a shot just before the red light went off. We'll give you a look at it.
Great recognition by her teammate to see her go in and just throw it up, and she delivered right at the end.
Gonzaga up by 3. We got more coming up here in Cheney. College basketball on SWX is sponsored in part by Northern Quest Resort and Casino, the Pacific Northwest's largest casino resort featuring 442 rooms, 24/7 Vegas-style gaming, and live entertainment. Northern Quest, yes, the best. A layup at the whistle by Aaliyah Alexander has Gonzaga leading 20-17. Eastern Washington able to trim that lead after falling behind early. Austin Getz, Michelle Clark with you. Michelle, just general takeaways from that first quarter?
One thing that popped out to me, it's not a lot, but I mean, Eastern 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Gonzaga only went once off of that, make and free throw. Eastern this quarter continue to drive to the rim, create contact, get to the foul line. Gonzaga, they need to do the same thing right back to Eastern.
Fighting inside for all those rebounds. Eastern Washington doing a good job of that early, limiting second chance opportunities. So with a chance to tie here, Eastern Washington, Loetta will try to do just that, and she does. Jamie Loetta, a triple, has us knotted at 20 all.
You can tell she's on a mission. You know, she's like, hey, I want to win this game. Gonzaga's coming into her home court. She's going to lead her Eagles.
Takeaway from Eastern Washington, a chance for their first lead of the game. Here's Alexander, mid-range on the way, little long. Rebound by Hollingsworth. Gonzaga comes away with it. Another tip pass, Esther Little able to save it. Eastern really trying to jump into those passing lanes. Kaylin Trong, who had a great first quarter, looks for more. She drives through the lane and she'll be fouled. Took a second to get the call, but it did seem like there was some contact there, and it'll send Kaylin to the line.
You know, I liked Kaylin's recognition on that. I thought she had a look for the three, but she decided not to. She saw a driving lane and got herself closer to the rim, which I thought was a really, really good decision. You see her coming off this Luetta just knocking it down for her Eagles team. And you see her sister, former Gonzaga player, but she's here supporting her sister, who's one is on the coaching staff, one is a player, so of course she's got to put her Eagle gear on.
Yeah, we got a Loetta family dynasty here, as you just mentioned it. Jamie on the court. Jordan Loetta, who played at the University of Oregon in her playing days, is on the Eagle bench as an assistant on Jody Gleason's staff. And then in the crowd, Jessie Loetta, the former Zag, sporting the Eagle colors, but like you were saying, Michelle, maybe she's got a Gonzaga t-shirt on to support both.
I bet she's got a GU shirt on underneath.
Gonzaga leading by 2 here as Eliza Hollingsworth looks for room, but Millie Knowles playing good block defense. They'll go right back down to Hollingsworth. 12 seconds left on the shot clock. Eliza looks for room. Millie straight up, puts the shot up. It won't go. Second chance opportunity, though. Brenna Maxwell kicks it back out. Here's Esther Little trying to get it into Ejim. It's tipped away. It'll stay with Gonzaga, but you can see Eastern almost selling out, trying to limit any touches for Yvonne inside the three-point line.
Oh, yeah, they're all over her, and they're doing a great job defensively. They are understanding their assignment, and they're making it really, really tough on her.
2-point lead for Gonzaga. 8 minutes and some change to go here in the first half. If you're just joining us, Gonzaga raced out to a 7-0 lead, but ever since then, Eastern Washington has been right in their hip pocket. And like we just mentioned, Yvonne Ejim, when she gets inside the paint, she'll do damage.
Yep, if she has 2 feet and the ball in her hands inside that paint, it's almost an automatic 2 points.
Second bucket of the game for Ejim. Eastern Washington down by 4 now. Millie Knowles drives to the elbow, picks up her dribble, kicks it out. Loetta calls for a screen. Jamie's got Yvonne on her out there. Now here's Jaleesa Lawrence. Lawrence drives, puts it up, and puts it in.
Great patience from Eastern on that play. You know, just working the ball around, finding that lane, and bringing it inside for those easy 2 points.
They go back into Ejim, or they try to. Now it goes out of bounds, and that'll be off of Yvonne. And that'll be Eastern basketball.
And you see Loetta's passion on that play right there. I mean, she's playing for every single possession. Great help side D, getting inside there, and then she recognizes it was off of Ejim's foot, and she is just motivating her team to keep going.
As good as she is on offense, she's the reigning Big Sky Conference Defensive Player of the Year. Had a season last year with 79 steals, led the conference with room to spare.
Yeah. She's just a smart player. She understands the game. We saw early on she kind of snuck in and she's grabbed a few steals.
Lawrence backs down her defender and ties up the game. Back-to-back makes for Jaleesa Lawrence, the junior from Meridian, Idaho.
You know, Gonzaga needs to match this intensity that Eastern is showing right now.
Esther Little has it poked away by Loetta. Loetta trying to win the race down court. She's outnumbered and pull it back out. Loetta through the paint, kicks it to the corner. 3 on the way, no good. Eastern Washington still has not led in this game. They fought back to tie it a couple of times. Gonzaga has not yet trailed in this game, but they have been outplayed so far after that first start. But as we know with this team, they can get red hot in a hurry. Yvonne Ejim will try the 2 and make it. She's got that in her game, Michelle. And you don't close out on her, she's going to shoot it.
Yep, and that was a deep 2 as well, you know, but yeah, she's got that range.
3 on the way for the lead. Eastern Washington in front. Aaliyah Alexander drills the triple. Lisa Fortier is not happy at all.
No, and I don't blame her. I would say they need a little fire underneath them right now, especially defensively. They need to match that intensity that Eastern is showing.
Eastern Washington in the lead for the first time tonight. We'll come back to Cheney. College basketball on SWX is presented in part by Washington Trust Bank, member FDIC, and by your area Papa Murphy's locations. Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizzas, handmade, home-baked. Back here at Reese Court, it is the Eastern Washington Eagles leading Gonzaga for the first time tonight, 27-26. Glad to be with you here on SWX. Austin Getz, Michelle Clark, and Michelle, as a player and as a coach, I'm sure you've been on both sides of a timeout where your coach brings the team over and really has to light a fire, like you said. What is said in a timeout like that?
I think it's, hey, match their intensity. Or, you know, like they're coming to play. Where are we at? And then, you know, then you get back to basics of what the game plan was and are we executing and what adjustments you need to make.
Eastern Washington took the lead on a 3 just before the timeout, so this is the first time they've possessed the ball holding that lead. And you talk about these two teams coming in, you know, conference favorites, evenly matched. Michelle, it's not just, you know, our eye test that says they're evenly matched.
Right.
The stats back it up too.
Yep, it sure does. And I don't know about that, but I would have somebody all over Louetta right now. She is scoring, she is passing, she's kind of doing it all, and I would just try to get somebody on her to fluster her and get her outside of her mojo right now.
Kaylee Trong tries to answer with a triple, not able to do so. So Eastern Washington back with it. Into the corner, Jaleesa Lawrence drives, little floater is good.
But yeah, Austin, to your point about these teams being so evenly matched, if you look at points scored in a game, that Gonzaga, they're at 81, Eastern's at 72, 9-point difference. Points allowed in a game, Gonzaga's 67, Eastern's 59, an 8-point difference there. So they're only a 1-point difference team of points scored and points allowed. That's how evenly matched these guys are.
Two teams, like we mentioned in the opens, it helps when you get your entire starting 5 back, which both these teams did.
Yes.
3 on the way, Louetta. Oh, she's cooking now.
She sure is. I don't know if you can put that fire out in 15 right now. She is feeling it, and her team is behind her.
Biggest lead of the game. Eastern's hit on their last 3 possessions. Under 4 minutes to go here in the first half. Gonzaga looking for an answer. Pass to the corner, swung around, Stokes back into the game. She'll drive, put up the shot. Can't get it to go. Millie Knowles fighting for the rebound. It goes out of bounds off of Yvonne Ejim, they say, so Eastern Washington will have the possession here.
Hey, great block out there by Knowles, too. You saw Ejim trying to work around her, and Knowles just kept pushing her body back into her. That, you know, she doesn't do that. That's an Yvonne Ejim offensive rebound.
Here's a look at the Louetta 3. That was actually the made floater by Jaleesa Lawrence. We'll get you to look at the Louetta 3 here shortly. Here's Lawrence as she drives into the paint, kicks it to the court of Louetta. Little jab fake, drives, passes inside. Knowles wasn't quite ready for it, but she's able to get it back. And now we are gonna get 3-second violation, 3 in the key.
Oh.
Gonzaga collapsed on her pretty good there.
It was, yeah. What a great pass, too. Just noticing her inside. Here's Louetta's 3. Just, I mean, she knew she was going to shoot that 3 before the ball was in her hands.
So still a 7-point lead. Gonzaga just trying to hang around right now. They have the offense to come back in a hurry. They're not worried at the moment, but got to get scoring sometime, and it might be tougher with Yvonne Ejim off the floor. That's a shot by the freshman Claire O'Connor from Bellevue. Knocks it down in her seeing her first college action this season. She's been in that rotation for Lisa Fortier, not afraid to play the freshman.
Hey, and man, did they need that from the freshman right now.
So it's a 5-point lead. Here's Alexis Pettis as she tries to navigate the traffic. Kicks it out off the feet, and now there's going to be a tie-up on the floor, and that's O'Connor getting on the floor. They get it up. Hybens lays it up, can't finish. So Eastern Washington able to survive the turnover there and still holding on to this 5-point lead.
Hey, I like the intensity, though, there by Gonzaga to win that 50-50 battle and see that open run out. Just couldn't knock it down.
Another tip. So another takeaway from Gonzaga. Now here's Kaylin Trong. Trong lines up the three. She's got it. Kaylin Trong dialed in right now as she's got 15 points.
Hey, you said it, Austin, right? We know that Gonzaga has the capability to score. They're averaging 80 points a game. So really, the question is, when are they going to turn the intensity on and then having some of those buckets start knocking down?
Another takeaway. Gonzaga getting it started on the defensive end with a chance to tie or take the lead. Stokes back over to Trong. Kaylin has hit 5 of her first 6 shots and all 3 of her triples. Wants a screen from Hybens. She'll take it. Kaylin at the elbow. Fakes the mid-range. Now Hollingsworth. Stokes back to Hollingsworth. 5 on the shot clock. Eliza loses the ball for a minute. Drives. Tries to put it up. She'll be fouled. And it'll go on Loetta.
You know, these last few possessions, I think that's the fire that Lisa Fortier is probably wanting to see out of her Bulldogs is, hey, you know, get it after it defensively. That's where it starts. And they've had a couple, you know, hands and tips on basketballs to allow runouts on the other end.
This is not an area you want to put Gonzaga on the free throw line. They shoot almost 80% as a team.
Yeah.
Got a timeout on the floor here. Just over a minute to go before halftime. Kind of feels like a really important 75 seconds for these two teams, Michelle, because a little run by either one of these teams, you're going to have Gonzaga going into the half leading after really being outplayed for a good portion, or if Eastern's able to get a stop, get a few more buckets, they're going to be looking at a halftime lead and really a well-played game so far. Yeah,
it's a game of momentum right now, really. And going into halftime and into your prospective locker rooms, you definitely want to have the momentum on your side right now. It's a minute and 15 seconds, like you said, Austin, of who wants it more right now? Who's going to fight harder in this last little bit in the second quarter to go in with the momentum at halftime?
There you get a look at Jody Gleason in her 3rd season as the head coach here in Eastern, and boy, has she done great things for this program. It was a tough first year, as you can expect for any coach, but a 10-win improvement, and then coming into your third year, you're picked to finish first in the conference by the other coaches in the conference.
Yeah. Well, I was telling you at our last break, I mean, this is one of the better Eastern women's basketball teams that I've seen in a while. And Gleason has done a phenomenal job, her and her staff, in developing these players, getting the right kids in. And, man, we're seeing it on display right now.
Tied up at the free throw line thanks to the 2 makes from Hollingsworth, who's now 17 of 19 on the year at the charity stripe. Just over a minute to go here in Cheney. It's been a great game so far. Both these teams fighting to take the halftime lead. Jadia Martin has her shot erased by Yvonne Ejim. Now the ball's on the floor. Ejim able to corral it. Great job by Hollingsworth to get on the floor. But Ejim showing some perimeter defense. Don't see a lot of blocks out there, Michelle, but she was right on it.
She's longer than you think. Those arms extend out.
Ejim trying to drive. Yvonne with the right hand scores.
That's just so hard to stop. She's so athletic. She's so strong and can make shots like that.
9-0 run for Gonzaga, who has surged back in front. Eastern slowing the pace, about a 7-second difference between the shot clock and game clock. Here's Alexander. Aaliyah Alexander, stutter steps, drives, puts it up with the left, can't get it to go. Ejim a big rebound. Still 15 seconds here in the first half. Gonzaga will hold for the last possession. And Trong's got it.
And this is that momentum play here going into half that can really give you the strength you need.
Trong loses the basketball. Alexis Pettis comes up with it, has to get rid of it. Good if it goes. It will not. A frenetic pace there in the last few minutes before the half. Gonzaga out in front, 37-35. They end the half on a 9-0 run, and they got it started on the defensive end. A lot of fun left to be had here in Cheney. We'll take a break and come back with our halftime show. You're watching college basketball, a big Inland Northwest rivalry night right here on SWX. College basketball on SWX is sponsored in part by Turf Club Sportsbook at Northern Quest Resort and Casino. Be sure to catch Brock's Locks, his pro picks from Turf Club Sportsbook each Friday night at 11 p.m. on nonstop local KHQ. Welcome you back here inside Reese Court, where we've had a lot of fun here in the first half. That's Michelle Clark. I'm Austin Getz. Michelle, just some takeaways. Both teams kind of getting it started with their defense. You had Gonzaga get off to the fast start offensively, but then Eastern, with the defense to offense, got back in front. And then Gonzaga, the reason they're holding on to this lead at halftime is they finally batten down the hatches on defense.
And honestly, Austin, I think it comes down to intensity, right? Like, we saw it from Eastern. They had been intense right from the get-go. They knew the assignment. Their defensive play against Ejim inside has been so good. Their help side defense, yes, Ejim is good. She's going to get some shots. But Eastern, overall, their intensity and their will to just want to win this game. We saw Coach Fortier call a timeout at one point to just pull her troops together and say, come on, let's go. And we saw a little bit of that come back with Gonzaga, you know, to finish out the half. But it's been all Eastern intensity for the first half.
Well, that Eastern intensity is probably something that has been seen from the whole conference, and probably a good reason why they have been picked to finish first in the coaches poll. Now, the media poll has a little bit of a split. They have Northern Arizona winning, but coaches, they really like Eastern, and that says a lot. Not to discount the media, of course, but when the coaches are saying, hey, we think that's going to be the top dog, that says a lot, Michelle.
It does say a lot, you know, because the coaches know. They see them game in and game out. They know what kind of recruits they have coming in. They know what kind of system Coach Gleason is running, and they know what they're up against for the season. So it does. It says a whole lot.
And Gonzaga, no slouch at all either in their poll, as not surprising, they are picked to finish first, had 8 of the 9 first place votes, and that one is Lisa Fortier if you can't vote for your team. But Eastern Washington, West Coast Conference has really gotten better the last couple years on the women's side, but Gonzaga is still clearly the class of that conference.
Yeah, they're clearly the dominant in that conference, and obviously going to continue to get those first place votes. But that doesn't mean that it's a cakewalk. Like you said, the WCC conference is good, and they got to go in and play just like we're seeing tonight on Eastern's home floor. No game is a given.
Take a break and come back. We got more halftime coverage coming up here at Reese Court. Get a look at Jamie Luetta, who had a big first half and a couple of big shots. Gonzaga leading by 2 here at the break. Have more coming up. SWX is brought to you in part by Stiefel Investment Services, offering you personalized, exceptional service and guidance. And Pint House Burgers and Brew. Never miss a big game. Now open for lunch. Halftime here at Reese Court in Cheney. Austin Getz and Michelle Clark joining you on what's been a really fun first half. And how about we look at some highlights? There was a lot of them. So let's get you some of the highlights from a really fun first half. We'll start with some highlights for the Eagles. Eastern Washington off to a great start, and there you see Luetta, who's just been dynamic in this game, Michelle.
Yeah, she really has, all over the floor. She's kind of leading that Eastern intensity, knocking it down from the outside, as you're seeing there. She's having great dribble drives inside and then dishing the ball off in the sweet pocket to her teammates. She's really doing it all for them.
On the other side for Gonzaga, it was tough sledding for a little while, but it definitely helps when you got Kaylin Trong, who's going to put up 15 points in that first half and was just red hot.
Yes, early red hot. See that little step back 3? That is a seasoned player right there who knows how to put the ball in the rim.
Reigning conference player of the year. She only missed 1 shot in the first half. Was 5 of 6 from the floor and 3 of 3 from the field. Played most of the first half, by the way, with Kaylee Trong getting into early foul trouble. We didn't see her for the last real second quarter of that game, so it will be interesting to see her get back on the floor. Let's look back at the keys to the game, looking back at what you think has been going well so far, which are brought to you by Northern Quest Resort and Casino, the Pacific Northwest's largest casino resort, featuring 442 rooms, 24/7 Vegas-style gaming, and live entertainment. Northern Quest, yes, the best. How are the teams grading so far with your keys to the game?
Well, for Gonzaga, I would say execution on the road. We've seen that in some pockets. We've also seen a couple bad pockets, right? And then controlling the tempo that kind of goes alongside with that. They get up and down. We saw a few stretches where both teams were up and down on the court. And Gonzaga, there were some moments where they could have slowed down, controlled the tempo, and executed in the half court. For Eastern, playing big, yeah, I'd say they're playing big. They're getting their hands in passing lanes, They're disrupting the play. Their help side defense on Yvonne Ejim is really good. They're playing big. And rebounding, yeah, I'd say they're hitting the mark there too. They're attacking the glass. They're getting offensive boards. They've got 14 rebounds as a team right now. They're just one shy of Gonzaga. I'd say they're doing all the right things, as keys to the game say.
Well, if the first half was any indication, we're in for a treat in the second half. Remember, this is a bit of a rivalry. These two schools just 20 miles apart. We'll take a break and come back. Get you ready for the second half here in Cheney. A fun night and a fun finish still ahead. College basketball on SWX is sponsored in part by Avista. If you ever see a power line on the ground, assume that it's energized, stay far back, and call Avista immediately. Avista wants you to be safe. Just under a minute to go till we get the third quarter started here at Reese Court. It is a 2-point lead for the visiting Gonzaga Bulldog and Lisa Fortier's squad. Real back and forth contest in that first half. Austin Getz, Michelle Clark joining you. Michelle, we were just talking. If you're out there and you think you know how this game is going to finish, you're a liar. Nobody knows how this one's going to finish the way that first half went.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yes, we know the Zags can put numbers up, and they're going to come out and put numbers up. But, man, this Eastern team is dialed, and they've got the will and the intensity. They're not going to let this slip away that easy. I think it's going to be a battle to the end.
And we've seen really kind of the stars of the game, so far. We've seen Kaylin and we've seen Jamie Luetta. But, it always kind of seems like in a game like this, who's going to come off the bench and give you a real tough 6 points or something like that?
That's a good point, Austin, because it is those couple players that come off the bench that are going to uplift, either create, some plays with their defense to create a turnover and an offensive possession, or score some points. What kind of contribution are those few players off the bench going to add? Because the 10 on the court right here are all pretty dang good.
And the 10 on the court are the returning starters for both these two teams. And we are underway, Eastern Washington, with the first possession, a chance to tie or take the lead right out of the break. Oh, pass to the corner, good find. Triple won't go. Yvonne Ejim with the rebound. Gonzaga looked like they were going to try to run for a minute, but now Kaylin Trong slows things down a bit. Finds Kay Lee back out on the floor after picking up those 2 fouls in the first half. Gonzaga closed the half on a 9-0 run that they are still on. Trying to add to it. Great pass in there. Eliza Hollingsworth goes up, can't get it to go. Yvonne Ejim, second chance bucket plus the foul.
And that's what they need from Ejim right there. But back up, that was a beautiful pass from Trong to Hollingsworth. If you see, just streaming the line there, missed opportunity, but Yvonne gives them a second chance.
We got a stoppage here as the clock is still running, as obviously we're stopped here at the free throw line. They'll have to get that sorted out. Foul went against Millie Knowles, just her first. No one really in foul trouble too bad in this game. The only player with 2 fouls in the contest is Kaylee Trong.
Which is why we didn't see much of her in that second quarter.
So they'll get ready to reset the clock as Yvonne Ejim goes to the line. Ejim on the year so far, great start at the free throw line, 88%, but this Gonzaga team just dialed in from the line. And you were talking about how Lisa Fortier and Jody Gleason both have a similar coaching style in terms of fundamentals. That's where you see it show up.
Yeah, absolutely. You totally see it show up in the controllables, right? Free throws, controllable.
And now we'll go to the sideline. I believe we might have had another clock issue. They'll get it sorted out.
Is it just not starting the clock?
Well, there it goes now. I appreciate the officials here because we don't want to be cheated out of any seconds of how good this game has been.
Yeah.
So now, going back to the first half, it is an 11-0 run for Gonzaga. This started when Eastern had their biggest.
Okay. Okay.
Going old school, we're getting a stopwatch in. Keeping time maybe on the court here as they're trying to see just how long the clock ran without needing to run. And vice versa, ran when it shouldn't have.
Yeah. Well, like you said, Austin, in a game like this, it potentially could come down to those few seconds.
Right.
So they got to get it right.
Our folks at home watching on SWX sure appreciate that, as they want to squeeze every drop out of this game. Well, no, don't want to look ahead past this game, but for Eastern Washington, after they face Gonzaga, they will stick around at home. They'll play again on Sunday against Boise State. And then Gonzaga has a huge test, as they will also, they'll go on the road, No, they will stay at home.
Yep.
And face Stanford. Always a tough matchup, and it's kind of become a yearly series. Gonzaga and Stanford. Lisa Fortier and Tara Vanderveer have a relationship. Yeah, we're getting told that they're going to have to rip the clock out of the wall and restart things here. So we're at a standstill here in Cheney. And there you get another look at the upcoming schedule for the Eagles. Test with Boise State, Walla Walla. Then they go on the road. They're facing Cal. And then you got a Christmas tournament. Wyoming and Presbyterian is who they'll face. Eastern Washington, like we mentioned, off to a 4-1 start. Their only loss to a UC Irvine squad. And looking at Gonzaga's upcoming schedule, like we mentioned, that huge battle with Stanford comes into the week ranked third. Then they'll go on the road, back-to-back games, Cal and Rice. Back home for South Dakota State, a game you can see here on SWX. And then they'll get into Pac-12 play, out-of-conference play as well, with those two games against Cal and Arizona. Really tough non-conference schedule for Gonzaga, for Eastern Washington too, but the teams that Gonzaga has faced, Louisville coming off a tough loss to them, but facing Alabama and facing some of the team that they have faced, it's a tough gauntlet.
It really is, and I like it. I think it's good. I think it prepares them for postseason play, even though you're not honing in on postseason play this early in the season, but that's part of what scheduling is can we put together a schedule that will prepare us to go far into postseason play. With a team like Gonzaga, who has seen so many NCAA tournaments, that is kind of how they schedule now and how they think about their preseason play and the teams that they put on that schedule. How will that prepare them deeper into the tournament?
And how valuable for these two programs to have such a good non-conference opponent 20 minutes away.
Yep.
Teams did not play last season, but they did play the first season that Jody Gleason was in charge back in 2021. Gonzaga won that game. In fact, they're riding a 17-game win streak over Eastern. We could see that in tonight. Who knows just how good of a game this has been. But just, the ability to find good non-conference matchups, I mean, a bus right away. I mean, Gonzaga's going to be home by, well before midnight tonight, which you can't say that, if you have to go on the road and find non-conference battles halfway across the state or at holiday tournaments.
Yep, absolutely. And it's kind of they have to think, okay, this isn't a gimme game anymore. We got to show up and play, and I know it's hard. They're coming back. Gonzaga's coming back from Texas, the Thanksgiving tournament, playing some tough teams, like you said, and then having to play Eastern, and then knowing in the back of their head they're going to turn around in a few days and play a team like Stanford, and not overlooking a game like this. It's right. Hard to do and keep your team dialed and focused in just one game at a time.
Yeah, I was going to mention that at some point tonight. You think for Gonzaga, a huge matchup with Stanford, a team they always play really tough, a team they nearly knocked off here in Spokane the last time Stanford came here.
Yep.
And just the experience, and these players have played in so many big games and game before, games against ranked opponents. Not calling this not a big game at all, it clearly is.
Yeah.
But just the ability to keep that focus and know we can focus on Stanford, Thursday as we get ready for that game. We can't focus on them tonight.
Right. Yeah, because you're up against a team that is very similar to you in this Eastern Eagles team. They're very evenly matched, like we've been talking about all night long, and Eastern has come to play.
Still trying to get the clock situation figured out, folks, if you're just now joining us. It is a 40-35 lead for Gonzaga. They've scored the only points so far of the second half. As we're trying to get things all squared away, make sure the timing is correct. Long stoppage here. What are you telling your players when, it's not like a quick timeout or a quick if they have to mop something off the floor and you really only have one message. Now you're essentially getting a second halftime speech.
Yeah, you're like, hey, we were just here just a little bit ago, right? Well, I'm sure Lisa has probably already laid into him again about like bringing the intensity. You got to get after it, and then dives right into execution and the game plan defensively, offensively, what they want to execute, what they want to see, and then, well, it looks like both teams are just having a little fun in their huddles too.
Never know. There you get a look at Lisa Fortier, Gonzaga head coach, 10 seasons, if you can believe it's already been that after taking over for Kelly Graves. 5-time West Coast Conference Coach of the Year. She's got these girls to the tournament now, I believe 7 consecutive years that there's been a tournament. So, made the right choice when they hired her.
Oh yeah, they knew. Lisa was always, even as an assistant on staff, I actually had the privilege of being coached by her and then being able to coach side by side with her too. She was always dialed, as an assistant coach, had her stuff in order, knew exactly what she wanted. Kelly trusted her 100% with the defense. She ran it, so it was no question when he decided to make the jump that Lisa was the best next step.
And as we mentioned, Jody Gleason, who coached Lisa Fortier when they were at Butte College together. Don't know how often you could say that.
I know.
2 coaches on the sideline where one was a player for the other.
Yep.
What really impresses me about these 2 coaching staffs is the consistency. Now, Jody only in her 3rd year here, but she's coached alongside her husband, Skip, for a long time. But here at Eastern, Skip Gleason, Brandon Morrison, and Jordan Loetta have been there for all 3 years. On the Gonzaga side, Jordan Green, Stacy Kleinsmith, and Lisa's husband, Craig Fortier, they're all in their 10th year. That's the same original staff that Lisa came to Spokane, or I should say took over in Spokane with.
Yeah, and I think that says a lot, right, about you as a coach, your style, your character, that your staff wants to stick around with you. They believe in you. They believe in the vision. They believe in, the direction that the head coach is taking the team. And I think that's going to be the same boat there with Jody Gleason as well. Obviously 3 years, and I think I can see that continuing with that staff. And pretty cool that both head coaches have husbands as assistant coaches on their staff. We're seeing more and more of that in the women's game, and I love it.
And as we talked about, the connections between these 2 programs don't just stop at, the coaches. We talked about the Loetta family dynasty. That is Jessie, who is here, as we mentioned, sporting the Eastern gear, but had a great career and was a part of one of the best Gonzaga women's basketball teams. There she is with Coach Fortier. Was a great player, then went and played overseas. And of course, her youngest sister, Jamie, is on the court tonight, and the oldest sister, Jessie was the middle sister, the oldest sister, Jordan, who was a player at the University of Oregon, on the bench. So, and don't think the good genes just came out of nowhere. Their mother was a player at the University of Oregon as well. So it runs in the family, and that's just some of the cool things when you have 2 programs that are close like this. You think of another one between Washington State and Idaho, or wherever you have 2 programs so close together. When you have those kind of connections, it's really fun, because if you have, my sister plays, or my older sister is a coach, and it's halfway across the country, it somehow doesn't feel as connected. But now you have 2 families that are spanning these 2 programs. Yeah,
that is kind of fun to see that, that it's not just one single program, but it is spanned out, over 3 really good programs too. And I think that's probably, where Jamie gets her competitiveness, right, that we've seen her play with all game long so far. When you come from a long line of sisters who are equally competitive, man, it just runs in your blood.
Well, we are still stopped here at Reese Course, ladies and gentlemen, as they are trying to get the clock figured out. We have a conference over there at the scorer's table. The referees have come over a couple times and let us know what's going on. Obviously, if you were with us at the start of the half, you know that the clock was running when players were at the free throw line, and then not starting when the ball was being taken up the floor, so we didn't know what was going on. They have 9:21 showing on the clock right now, and they've had that for a while. I believe at this point they might just be checking to see if that's the appropriate time. That has come off the clock. Gonzaga is leaving their huddle. Don't know if they've been told we're almost ready to get going.
It looks like they're close. It looks like maybe they're just confirming it.
Now they just took it down to 9:15. And now they put it back at 9:21. So we're somewhere in the general vicinity of the first minute of this second half.
This can be so hard for these athletes to stop play for this long. Their body temperature has kind of come down, and you just, you want to make sure they kind of ease back into play a little bit. But maybe that's just me. They're probably just going to hit the ground running.
Well, now Gonzaga has been motioned back towards Lisa Fortier, so maybe we're not close to this second half starting. As you can see, Brenna Maxwell trying to keep those legs going. All right, we'll take a break and see if we can get some stuff figured out, folks. 40-35 as we try and get the clock situation figured out here at Rescore. Powers that be have looked over the clock and determined that it was 9:21 on the clock as we get things started here. Thanks for sticking with us. We appreciate it. You don't want to miss the conclusion of this game, I promise you. 40-35 as Brenna Maxwell picked up her second foul there on the inbounds. Nice play out of the timeout as Aaliyah Alexander knocks down the mid-range.
That's impressive to come out of a long stoppage of play there and knock down that jumper out of an out-of-bounds play.
So Gonzaga, who just had that 11-0 run snapped, will try to answer. Kaylin Trong. High, almost got the shooter's roll. Eliza Hollingsworth, second chance, no. Yvonne Ejim, a third chance will send her to the line.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's exactly what Gonzaga needs to do right there, as they did before that stoppage of play, is continuing to pursue that offensive glass. I mean, that was a key for Eastern, is to not allow them to do that. But if Gonzaga wants to stay in this, that pursuit of the offensive glass is going to keep them there.
So Ejim goes to the line, knocks down her first shot. Millie Knowles is who picked up the foul, just her second. Nobody in this game on either side with 3 fouls yet, but we still have a long time to go here in the third quarter. 2-for-2 trip for Ejim. Gonzaga lead back out to 5. Eastern Washington was really a balanced scoring attack. Nice feed inside. Alexander spins and lays it in.
Nice play by Alexander. Good backdoor cut there, being able to compose herself. Little drop step turnaround.
She's into double figures now. That gives her 11 points. Kaylee Trong hit the floor there, wanted a foul, won't get one. Gets the ball back now. Kaylee just inside the three-point line. Little long on the shot there. Rebound by Eastern Washington. Brings it up down 3. There's Jamie Loetta right in front of her head coach. Now here's Jaleesa Lawrence. Lawrence with 8 points in that first half. Defense trying to attack her now as she drives to the baseline, kicks it out. Loetta open look at a 3. She's got it. Loetta now 4 for 5 from downtown and ties the game up. Here's Eliza Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth going to work, puts it up, can't get it. Ejim right there, the second chance bucket again.
Hollingsworth just kind of gave the look like, oh my goodness, you know, because she's missing a lot of bunnies, but thankfully she's got Ejim there to clean it up for her. 17
points and 8 rebounds now for Ejim as Hollingsworth with the steal. Gets it up to Yvonne. Ejim, the pass, Maxwell goes up, blocked by Lawrence.
Really good block by Lawrence there. Good body awareness and positioning, and allowing her to just separate her body and get a little tip on the basketball.
Here you get another look at it. Jaleesa Lawrence never given up on the play, was on the wrong end of a 2-on-1 and came out with the victory anyways.
Big play.
Gonzaga retains possession. They'll get it into Hollingsworth. Eliza to the corner. Kaylin thought about a 3. Still 20 seconds left on the shot clock. Trong to Ejim. Ejim just a step inside the arc. Kick to the corner. Kaylee looks at a triple. Can't get it to go. Hollingsworth, big rebound. Eliza puts it up. Can't get it. But another offensive rebound. And finally, Eastern Washington able to wrestle it away from Millie Knowles.
And you can see the frustration on Hollingsworth's face, you know, just missing so many of those bunnies around the rim.
Eastern down by 2 with the ball here. Pass to the corner, 3 for the lead. A foul and the basket. This basket will count and Eastern Washington will retain the ball.
Big 3 by Eastern. I didn't catch the foul or what happened there between Trong.
Here you get a look at it. Was setting the screen. That was Jadia Martin, and she got ran over. So the triple's good. The referees are determining what should happen now. Basket's good. They just confirmed. And the foul goes against Kaylee Trong, which is her third.
It almost looked like Kaylee was surprised by that screen. She didn't know it was coming and just ran right over it.
So a 2-for-1 chance now for Eastern Washington as they will keep the ball and now have the lead.
That was a great shot. Lead the ball at limits.
1 point advantage for the home squad. Here's Aaliyah Alexander with it now. Alexander, Martin for three, buries it!
Eastern, they are coming to play in this second half. They have not let off the gas since the moment that ball was tipped in the air.
A 6-point possession. Now here's Kaylin Trong. Out to Esther Little. Little drives into the paint, puts it up with the left hand, gets the friendly roll. Gonzaga able to answer thanks to Esther Little. Still a 2-point lead for Eastern Washington. 6 minutes to go here in the third. Driving to the basket and scoring is Jaleesa Lawrence. Gonzaga quickly the other way. Lawrence now with 11 points. Pass inside, somehow that got through to Yvonne Ejim, but she's in trouble. She'll be fouled.
You see Yvonne Ejim working so hard inside and yelling at her teammates saying, "Get me the ball." She's got 3 players on. It was probably wise not to, but it looked like you could see both numbers. You know, her chest was facing open. She probably should have gotten the ball. But man, is she having to work hard inside.
Jamie Loetta picked up that foul. She'll go to the bench. So Gonzaga down by 4. They'll get this into Little. Here's Kaylin Trong. Trong calls for a screen. Ejim now. Over to Trong. Kaylin looking for room. Trong over to Yvonne. Jumper's good.
She's got that deep range. I mean, that was just inside the 3-point line.
So still a 2-possession game. Neither of these teams refusing to let the other one pull away. Eastern has hit their last 6 shots from the field. Here's Buckley now back to Alexander. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Alexander, kick to the corner. 3 on the way from Martin. That one rattled out. Big rebound by Little in there. Had to get it over the bigger Jacinta Buckley.
You could see the Eastern bench on that one. They wanted it bad. They were going to go crazy if it went in.
Esther Little is going to get called for a travel here. She got her feet started before the ball. We'll take a break. Eastern Washington has pulled back in front. Gonzaga not going away. Still a lot of basketball to be played here at Reese Court on SWX. Spectacular boutique hotel suites, full bar and restaurant, and golf simulator. Book your winter stay and play at the Club at Prairie Falls, just north of I-90 in Post Falls. Back here at Reese Court, just under 5 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. It is Eastern Washington with a 2-point lead, 50-48 our score. Austin Getz, Michelle Clark joining you on the broadcast. Michelle, we were just talking, it has been a hot shooting quarter for Eastern.
It really has. I mean, 75%, 6 of 8 on shooting in this quarter so far. I'd say that's pretty darn good. Gonzaga 4 of 13, so they're getting lots of look. They just haven't converted many of them.
Gonzaga feels like they have just taken every punch Eastern has given them tonight, and has always seemed to find an answer.
Yeah, they have, and you know what is kind of keeping them in it is those second chance points. Gonzaga's got 9 to Eastern 0 second chance points.
Right on cue, Esther Little with a big rebound. They get on the floor, a jump ball. Possession favors Gonzaga. Esther Little put her body on the line there.
Hey, you know, that was a key to the game for Eastern there, was not allowing Gonzaga those second chance points on the board, but man, that's exactly what's keeping Gonzaga close with all those missed bunnies around the rim.
Millie Knowles will get a break for Eastern Washington as Bella Hayes checks into the game. Eliza Hollingsworth right to the rack and scores, ties us up.
That's got to feel good for Eliza, being able to see that ball go through the rim there. That was a great move, aggressive play to the hoop.
Eliza's done a lot. That's just her second made basket, but she has done it all on the board so far. Nice skip pass, Eastern for 3, little short. What a rebound though, Jacinta Buckley comes away with it. Now here's Jadia Martin, tried to pass, and this will be, what's the call? It looked like it might have been deflected by Gonzaga. Yes, they do overturn that call. Originally they called it that it was just an unforced error, but I think it was Esther Little who got just enough of it to send it out of bounds. Here's a look.
Oh, on her leg. Just brushed her leg a little bit to keep it Eastern basketball.
15 seconds on the shot clock. Ooh, pass right into Lawrence. Great execution on the baseline inbounds.
Great execution, hard cuts. She busted to the rim as quick as she could and had a nice look.
15 points. She ties Kaylin Trong and Jamie Luetta as the game's highest scorers. Here's Trong. Her team down by 2 with just over 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Trong drives baseline, and she'll be fouled. And I believe that's on Luetta. That would be her third.
Good execution by Trong to recognize, all right, we need to get to the free throw line. Let's get to the rim, try to draw a foul, get some, controllable points at the free throw line.
Trong is 75% free throw shooter on the year. The reigning West Coast Conference Player of the Year and Associated Press All-American honorable mention after she had a great season last year. Really had to take on more workload than she was used to because Kaylee Trong, her sister, was injured early in the season and missed more than 20 games. And Kaylin really blossomed over that time and just became a force. And now you have both the Trongs in the starting lineup. Kaylin splits the pair and is going to head to the bench for a break.
You see Gonzaga switching things up a little bit, giving them a full court press here. Last possession, they fell back into a zone, which is fine. They just got to be aware of those shooters because Eastern has done a great job of outside shooting.
This is Aaliyah Alexander with it now. Wants a screen from Millie Knowles, who's back in the game. Alexander through the paint with the left hand off the side of the rim. And Eliza Hollingsworth, another big rebound. That's going to give her 7. Two and a half minutes to go. It's a 1-point game here in Cheney. Claire O'Connor also back in for Gonzaga. Here's Kaylee Trong who had it. Back to Hollingsworth. Skip pass. Corner. Oh, blocked by Buckley.
That was big for Buckley coming through. Getting a nice high hand. Blocking the three-point attempt there by the freshman.
Claire O'Connor has her shot erased. Gonzaga keeps the possession though, 9 seconds on the shot clock. They got to get this in. They do, they float it up to Hollingsworth. Now here's Kaylee, 5 on the shot clock now. Kaylee Trong looking for room, over to Ejim. In the backcourt, Millie Knowles threw it up and then caught it herself. You can't.
Oh, good play by Callie Mills. She was already there, so she just kind of threw her hand in the play and created Knowles to kind of panic for a second and turn the ball over.
Hasn't been the cleanest game for either of these two teams, both now with more than 8 turnovers. Eastern with 8, Gonzaga with 9. 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. As Kaylee Trong gets it to the high post, Ejim. He's got Hollingsworth down there, Yvonne will drive, kick it to the corner. Callie Stokes 3 on the way, can't get it to go. But another offensive board by Hollingsworth, and this time she gets it off the glass and in.
You gotta love her consistent pursuit of that offensive glass. And now it's starting to pay off as she's bringing some of those home through the net.
Her third offensive rebound. And now Gonzaga back in front. Oh, great cut by Millie Knowles, just couldn't quite handle the pass.
That was a tough one. I think, she almost could have got called for an offensive foul. She had a nice full arm extension push off on that one.
Here's the offensive rebound and score from Eliza Hollingsworth a second ago, which has Gonzaga in the front here as they possess the basketball. Ejim through traffic, can't get it, gets her own board and tips it back in.
Great body awareness there by Ejim too. She could have, she just jumped straight up in the air. If she would have floated forward, it would have been an offensive foul.
Now we have a foul on Gonzaga. Claire O'Connor picks up her first. Going back to Ejim. Now 21 points, 9 rebounds, so she'll have a double-double by the end of this game.
Yeah, it's no surprise that she's been the WCC Player of the Week.
Tipped and taken away. Callie Stokes lays it in, and Eliza Hollingsworth is the one who tipped that ball loose.
Callie Stokes bringing some energy to the team here. some tipped balls, forcing Eastern to create some turnovers. That's been a big momentum shift for them.
7-0 run for Gonzaga here in the final minute of the third quarter. Skip pass, trying to answer is Lawrence. She does!
Lawrence has been on fire from the three-point arc.
And now a turnover. Eastern Washington trying to come the other way, down 2 here. Last 30 seconds of this quarter. Jaleesa Lawrence hounded by Yvonne Ejim. Ejim on the floor. This will be a jump ball, and it'll be Eastern Washington basketball.
Good hustle by Ejim there, just staying after it. She almost kind of backed off like she could have gotten called for a foul there, but then saw the loose ball opportunity and jumped all over it.
Jamie Luetta checking back in for the last 24 seconds. There's a 5-second difference between shot clock and game clock, so Eastern can't hold it for the final possession. Looking for the inbound, Aaliyah Alexander. Alexander, guarded by Trong. Looking for room, she'll pull up, this is a 2, and she hits it. Eastern Washington back in front, the jumper from Aaliyah Alexander.
That's a big player shot right there. She had a hand in her face and she still knocked it down.
6 seconds left in the third quarter. Trong, pass underneath, it's tipped out of bounds. Gonzaga will have one more crack at it with 1.9 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. All tied at 57. It'll be Caitlin Trong to do the inbounding. Trying to get it into Ejim. Ejim off a screen, they'll float it up. Ejim catches it at the horn. She got it! 23 points from Yvonne Ejim. She has her team in front as we head to the fourth quarter. Gonzaga and Eastern Washington throwing haymakers here in Cheney. And it's Yvonne Ejim with the last basket of the third period. Take a break. The fourth quarter on the way here on SWX. College basketball on SWX is brought to you in part by Horizon Hospice, the only local hospice to receive Medicare's 5-star rating. Don't just say hospice, say Horizon Hospice. And Windermere Real Estate. No one sells more homes in Spokane than Windermere. All in for you. 1 quarter remains here in Cheney as a back-and-forth battle has Gonzaga leading 59-57 as we start the final frame. Austin Getz and Michelle Clark joining you on SWX tonight. Thanks for being with us, Michelle. Boy, we talked about this game and the depth of these teams and the starting lineups and all the stars, and they have more than delivered tonight.
Absolutely, more than delivered. I mean, we knew this was going to be a game like this, you know, both teams being so evenly matched and bringing so much to the table on both fronts.
And Jamie Luetta just picked up her 4th foul.
You know, that one, you saw it all over her face. That was just, that's not what you would call a good foul. You know, for a player like that who needs to be on the floor for the entire fourth quarter of this game, that wasn't the foul that she wanted to get.
She heads to the bench 9 seconds into the fourth. So we'll see how long Eastern can afford to leave her there. Yvonne Ejim, great defense on the baseline. I believe that was Alexis Pettis who came over and just affected that shot just enough for Ejim to miss, and then the ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay, or it'll go to the Eagles. Eastern Washington trailing by 2 here, their first possession of the fourth quarter. Leah Alexander now to Alexis Pettis. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Millie Knowles gets it over to Jacinta Buckley. Buckley to Pettis. Crossover. Pettis drives. Picks up her dribble. Gets around her defender and scores.
Look at the composure, right? Down to the last second on the shot clock.
Her first points of the game, but Caitlin Trong comes back with a 3.
A very confident answer right there by Caitlin Trong, the senior, to just step up and knock down a return three-pointer.
So Gonzaga just seemingly having an answer for everything tonight. But no answer there as Aaliyah Alexander drives for the layup. She's got 15.
You know, the way these two teams are scoring right now, it's like, hey, let me let you in on a little secret. Somebody's gonna have to stop somebody in order to win this game.
Trong, floater, rattles home.
But I sure do love all the offensive play.
21 points now for Kaylin Trong. Just 2 points off the game's highest scorer. That's Ejim with 23. Eastern down by 3. They have also stood up to every test Gonzaga has thrown, going all the way back to the 7-0 run that started the game. Millie Knowles able to draw a foul and will go to the line. First foul on Eliza Hollingsworth.
That's a tough foul on Hollingsworth. It looked like she had good position, arms were straight up, maybe there was some body underneath. Oh, yeah, she came down on her arm. That's a clear foul.
So Knowles goes to the line. You talk about Millie Knowles, comes into this game shooting 56% from the floor. And if you think that's a high number, that's going to cool off. No, she shot 56% last season. Doesn't take a lot of shots, usually makes the most of them. Splits the free throw there, makes it a 2-point game. Back and forth we go here in Cheney. 8 minutes to go in regulation of this one. Kaylin Trong. Here's Brenna Maxwell. Haven't had a lot of her tonight, but we'll have 3 free throws coming up.
That's just one of those fouls every coach goes, what are you doing? Why are you fouling somebody on the 3-point line? I mean, at least they didn't give her a chance to make it, but looks like she kind of just pushed her arm out of the way, and Brenna Maxwell maybe came down on her foot wrong and fell back, so it looked like a foul. Regardless, though, you don't ever want it to even look like a foul on the 3-point line.
Maxwell had just 3 points before that made free throw. That came all the way back very early in the first quarter of the game. 2 for 2 there. Chance to stretch this lead to 5. 3 for 3 trip. She's now 18 of 18 on the season. I didn't want to say anything and jinx her because if you remember the last season, I was talking how great she was at the free throw line and she immediately missed it.
Yep.
Oh, 3 on the way from Martin. Jadia Martin from way downtown.
Eastern has just been red hot outside the 3-point arc tonight. Martin knocking down a big 3 for her Eastern Eagles.
Jadia Martin has picked her spots tonight, 12 points, but it seems like every one of them has come at absolutely crucial times.
Yes.
Levon Ejim drives on Knowles. This one tipped high up in the air. Ejim wins the race to it. Now here's Maxwell. Mid-range jumper, and she'll go to the line again.
A great job by Maxwell creating that body contact and getting herself to the free throw stripes. We've already seen she knows how to knock them down.
Just the definition of a pure shooter. Comes into this game shooting 41% from the field. That's considered a slow start for her to the season. You go back to last year, she shot 48% from 3. One of Gonzaga's best deep shooters. You add her with the Trongs out there, you're going to be in trouble if you leave somebody open on the arc.
Yep, just a pure shooter.
5 straight points at the line for Maxwell. She makes both of them. Eastern Washington shooting 52% from 3, 11 of 21.
You see Luetta back in the game. I knew she wasn't going to sit too long into this 4th quarter.
Yeah, Jody Gleason can't afford to have one of her best playmakers and especially her best defender on the bench in a game like this. Under 7 minutes to go here, Luetta probes the defense, pulls it back out. Here's Martin, and Martin's going to be fouled by Kaylee Trong, who just picked up her 4th.
That's a tough one. I mean, there was body there. It was a great job by Eastern diving into her, creating the contact. I mean, that is a foul.
So Kaylee goes to the bench. Brenna Maxwell, who came off, is back in. Looking at the fouls, it's 3 for each side. This will go into the backcourt, but it'll be illegally picked up by Eastern Washington there. Here's Lawrence.
A little miscommunication there by the Eagles on that out-of-bounds play.
So now just 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Martin, crossover through the legs, goes through the lane, gets it over Lawrence for 3, buries it!
It's been Lawrence, then Martin, Lawrence, then Martin.
Answer from Gonzaga, no, but an offensive rebound from Kaylin Trong. Second chance for Maxwell. No good there. Callie Stokes a big offensive board. And now Trong. Maxwell, 3rd time's a charm? No, but another rebound
and a fourth chance for Maxwell, and it won't go, but another rebound. Hollingsworth, no. This one goes out of bounds. It'll be Eastern Washington basketball. Gonzaga, crucial missed opportunities.
Wow. So many offensive rebounds there by the Zags and just not able to convert on it, but Eastern red hot from the three-point line.
Jaleesa Lawrence on that last made three, up to 21 points now. And depending on how this game goes, think back to that last possession for Gonzaga. 5 looks at the basket, couldn't come away with any points. Holding on to a 1-point lead here is Eastern Washington back on offense. It's Lawrence. Lawrence drives, floats it up. Knowles wasn't quite ready for it, and chasing it down is Mount Hybens. Another turnover, another unforced error. Kalen Trong, deep triple. No, off the iron. Gonzaga has gone cold from behind the arc, which is usually one of their great strengths.
And in a game like this too, Austin, it's like, okay, you've had a lot of looks. We got to get to the rim now. Get to the rim, draw some contact, get to the free throw line. Can't always live and die on the three.
Gonzaga has missed their last 6 shots, and this is going to be a foul that's going to send Louetta to the line with the chance to put her team in front. Here's a look at the foul. Yeah, clear there. So
Yeah.
Louetta will go to the free throw line.
But that's what a foul should be like right there with Kelly
Don't
Stokes.
make it cheap, you know?
Yep, don't make them earn it at the stripes.
Louetta has not shot a lot of free throws. That attempt was just her 9th, so she's now 6 of 9 on the year. Looking to go 7 of 10 and put her team in front. We're square at 69 with 5 minutes and change here in Cheney. Louetta's second free throw is good.
And that now will mark the 5th lead change tonight between these two teams.
Not to mention all the times we've been tied.
Yes, yeah, throw that in there.
Those 2 free throws put Louetta at 14 points, excuse me. Brenna Maxwell, now over to Stokes. Mount Hybens, mid-range jumper, nearly banked it in, gets her own board, puts it back up, that won't go. Ejim now a tie up underneath. This will be a jump ball, and it'll be Eastern basketball.
Ball, Eastern Washington possessing.
So Eastern Washington comes away. They're leading by 1 here with just over 5 minutes to play in regulation.
I mean, if you go back to those keys again, right? If Eastern keeps Gonzaga off the glass, they may have a little bit more of a lead. But Gonzaga, their pursuit of that offensive glass has just been tremendous.
Aaliyah Alexander looking for any space. Pull up from the free throw line, a little bit long, and now we've got a foul away from the rebound. This is going to go against Gonzaga.
I'd like to see the replay on that one too.
We'll get a look at it when we come back. Eastern Washington leading by 1 here in the 4th quarter, and Cheney, don't go anywhere. This one's been a lot of fun.
Good job.
Back here in Cheney, the fans and Swoop having a lot of fun as Eastern Washington up by 1 here with under 5 minutes to play. Go back to the foul that happened before the break, Michelle. You're going to look on the left side of your screen, or the top side of your screen, I should say, where Mount Hybens and Millie Knowles were battling.
Yeah, you see him just battling, and Knowles did a great job keeping her hands down. She just stepped away, and Hyben fell back. I mean, Hyben did kind of create more of that contact with her arm. I would have maybe said no call, but in all fairness, yeah, there was some contact there.
Gonzaga, now that was their 5th team foul, so Eastern will be shooting from here on out for the end of regulation. Millie Knowles, in her 6th year at this Eastern Washington program, steps to the line for 2 huge free throws. Played a lot of basketball wearing the red and white. Two for 2 trip, it's a 3-point lead. Gonzaga has gone frigid from the field. They've missed their last 8 shots, including 5 on 1 possession.
This is a big execution moment here for Gonzaga. They really need to get to the rim or get to the free throw line.
Here's Kalen Trong. They're giving her a little space. She'll go to the high post for Hollingsworth. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Tipped away. They tried to feed Ejim. Eastern wasn't having it.
Great defensive play by Eastern there. I think kind of looked at it a little bit too long. Hollingsworth just kind of eyed Ejim down, and then the pass just wasn't there anymore.
Kaylee Tron getting ready to check back in at the next dead ball. Here's Jamie Luetta. Alexander, Aaliyah Alexander creating space, loses the ball for a moment, gets it back. Alexander driving, putting it up, and somehow gets it to go.
Wow.
Brenna Maxwell to answer. Finally gets it to go. Lisa Fortier calls a timeout. Brenna Maxwell, who, if you remember, missed 4 consecutive threes, brings it back to a 1-possession game.
And that was a big 3, man. Did they need that? I think everybody on the Gonzaga bench just leapt up like, thank you. It went in.
And I mean, what did it say about being able to trust a player like that?
Yep.
Missing 4 threes, most of them well wide open on 1 possession. But the first chance, they see her with a little bit of separation. We'll take a quick break and come back. 2-point lead for Eastern Washington, 4 minutes to go. After a made basket and after she had missed 4 shots from 3, Brenna Maxwell, no hesitation, a triple. And it brings her team down 2 as Eastern Washington leading 74-72 with 3 minutes and 53 seconds remaining. Austin Getz and Michelle Clark, glad to be with you as we've got a fun finish coming up here on SWX. Michelle, just the key to these last few minutes. I mean, what's it going to take for one of these teams to get a win?
It's going to take some defensive intensity, honing in, not allowing any more of those second chance looks, right? One and done. And then offensively staying composed and executing in the half court.
Buckley, 3! Eastern scorching the nets off the hoops from downtown.
Big 3 from Buckley. I mean, everybody on that Eastern court is really feeling it.
Yvonne Ejim can't get it, but gets her own rebound, falls to the floor, trying to get it away. Now the ball's loose and still loose. Eastern Washington trying to track it down. Callie Stokes off the glass and in.
Wow, major hustle play from Yvonne Ejim to keep that ball alive for the Zags.
Here's Jadia Martin looking for a quick answer. Martin, no hesitation. That one no good. Into the corner, Brenna Maxwell's got it.
So this is where Gonzaga needs to capitalize right now. They got to stop. Now they need to execute, run their offense, get to the rim, get to the free throw line if they can. If they settle for an outside jumper, it better make sure that it's a good look.
Kaylee Trong running the point right now. Here's Maxwell. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Gonzaga down 3. Maxwell through traffic. Trong looking at the shot clock, 5 seconds. Trong to tie. Off the rim. Maxwell chases it down, keeps it alive for Gonzaga. Another second chance. Trong underneath, Hollingsworth puts it up and in.
Hey, Gonzaga, it's those second chance points, right? That aggressiveness on the offensive glass.
Big collision, and this is going to be a foul on Callie Stokes, who never saw Jadia Martin, who had her feet planted in plenty of time. Not even really setting up for a screen, just stopping in her tracks.
Yeah, Martin was set for a while on that one, but nobody from Stokes' team is yelling at her, or maybe they did, she just didn't hear it, of saying, hey, look out, screen coming.
And that will put Eastern on the line. As we mentioned, they'll be shooting free throws from here on out, and they put Jadia Martin at the stripe. Hasn't been here a lot this year, but she's 2 for 3. Coming off a year where she led the team in scoring at 16 points per game, embracing a new role where she's come off the bench this season. Drills a big free throw there.
Yeah, big free throw. These last 2 minutes here, that's it. Every free bunny is worth a lot.
A hush falls over Reese Court and can't get the shooter's roll. Horn sounded, but they'll keep playing. Kaylin Trong, jab step. Created space, won't take it. Gonzaga down by 2. 2 minutes remaining here in Cheney. A battle between two teams separated by just 20 miles. And a winning streak dating back 20 years for Gonzaga. On the line here, but Kaylee Trong ties us at 78.
That's what I'd like to see more of from them down the stretch. That was a great take to the rim by Kaylee. Good recognition. Nice little kiss off the glass to convert 2 points.
Jody Gleason calls a timeout, just a 30-second. We'll keep it here. A minute and 40 seconds remaining in a tie ball game. Michelle, what more could you ask for?
I know, it's been, just one lead change after the other. I don't know, we're not even keeping track of how many times they have tied it in the game, but that's probably got to be at least 6 or 7, right? Man, what a fun game so far. We called it from the start. It's a great matchup. Both teams so evenly matched. Eastern very hungry from the get-go. They have not laid off on their intensity from the moment this game tipped off. Gonzaga, they've had a few lulls here and there, but they have kept themselves in the game, hustling on that offensive glass. It's been a fun one.
It was New Year's Eve of 2003, the last time Eastern Washington beat Gonzaga. Since then, the last 17 contests have all gone to the Bulldogs. Could we see that streak continue or end tonight? We'll find out over these last few minutes. J.D. Martin, they try and feed inside to Buckley. Ball's on the floor. Gonzaga has it. Lisa Fortier holds on to her timeout because the jump ball is going to Gonzaga.
And great hustle there by Gonzaga, getting down on the ground to win that 50-50 battle. That's what you need in the home stretch. A lot of stop, score, stop.
A minute and 28 seconds remaining. Out there on the floor right now for the Zags, Yvonne Ejim, both Trongs, Eliza Hollingsworth, and Brenna Maxwell. For Eastern Washington, their starters as well. Louetta, Buckley, Alexander, Martin, and Jaleesa Lawrence. Martin actually out there in place of Millie Knowles right now. Here's Ejim. Drives, Ejim, mid-range, can't get it to go. Another second chance. Hollingsworth off the side of the rim. Eastern Washington escapes. A minute to go, tied at 78. The Eagles bring it over the timeline.
Huge defensive possession here.
Ball poked away from behind. It went out of bounds. That could have been a turnover, but instead it'll stay with the Eags. Callie Stokes running on to sub on for Brenna Maxwell. 19 seconds left on the shot clock here for the Eagles. Louetta to do the inbounding, finds Alexander. Alexander drives, blocked by Ejim. Shot erased.
Wow, great recognition by Alexander to see the driving lane, and then huge play by Yvonne Ejim to come over, block that shot. Big athletic play there by Ejim.
Quick inbound, 15 seconds left on the shot clock for Eastern. 45 seconds left in regulation. Here's Alexander, drives, and her shot blocked by Hollingsworth. 35 seconds, I should say, remaining, and Lisa Fortier wants a timeout. Defensive intensity, you called for it, Michelle. I think they found it.
Yeah, I think so too, and they're playing to their strengths, right? You saw both the bigs for Gonzaga saying, hey, I don't need to create contact with you. I'm gonna step back, use my length to block some of those shots. Hollingsworth doing a good job of that on that last play here, as we'll see. Stepping away behind her, blocking the shot from behind, and then keeping it in play to have it be Gonzaga basketball. Great play by Gonzaga down the stretch by their bigs.
You talked about how big the rebound battle was going to come into play. Gonzaga winning that by a 41-25 margin. And it's all those second chance points, 20 offensive rebounds for Gonzaga. They haven't been able to convert on a lot of great looks. But if those rebounds were cut even in half, you feel like Eastern's dribbling this clock out.
Yeah, absolutely. They cut they cut that in half, and it's a different ball game. Eastern's up by 5, and it's not so tight ball game with 34.9, almost 35 seconds left.
Who will be the hero? The crowd in red and blue rising to their feet.
What a big win for Eastern this would be. Well deserved. They've come to play all game long.
Ejim. Over to Trong, Kaylin Trong, pump fake inside, Hollingsworth takes the lead!
And that right there is a senior leader, right? She had the look, she gave a pump fake and said, now I'm gonna give it to my teammate for an easy 2. Great job by Hollingsworth to convert it.
Boy, what a basket. After she had some tough misses inside there, they go right back to her. A double-double for Hollingsworth, 12 points, 14 rebounds. Get a look. Here's what you're talking about. Trong gets 2 defenders in the air, Michelle. And Hollingsworth made the most of it.
And a beautiful pass to her teammate, and you're right, she made the most of it. That was a great execution. That's that half-court execution that you see by a seasoned Gonzaga basketball team like this. Now, coming out of this timeout is going to be a big one for Eastern. They're going to want to do the same thing. They're going to want to have an execution play just like that. If you're Gonzaga, oh man, you say, hey, solid defense, no dumb fouls, right? Don't go fouling somebody on the three-point line, you know, silly stuff like that. And then secure the basketball. Hold on to it, you know?
Any foul will put Eastern Washington on the line. 22 seconds remaining. Looking at the timeout situation, Jody Gleason has 2 left. If she doesn't like a look, she can take one. Lisa Fortier and the Zags with 1. Out there for the Eags, the usual suspects. Buckley, Martin, Alexander, Lawrence, and Loetta. She'll do the inbounding. Loetta with it. Shot clock off, 20 seconds to go. Loetta drives, puts it up, can't get it to go. Rebound by Gonzaga, and Kaylin Trong is fouled.
Hey, great defense there by Kelly Stokes. She just kept her feet moving. She kept her shoulders square to Loetta's. Straight up, there's a little bit of contact, but not enough. It was a good no call.
And here you get a look at the defense. Gonzaga actually called their final timeout before the foul came. Great defense by Callie Stokes, and then Trong going for the rebound.
And Gonzaga getting that timeout. Now it's 15.7 seconds, Gonzaga basketball. Great defensive possession there. That's exactly what they wanted. You know, of course, I would have wanted the ball in Loetta's hands too. That'd be exactly the play that I would call as well. She just, you know, she tried to lean in and create contact. It kind of threw her off on her shot as she's leaning out of bounds to try to knock that down.
So Eastern Washington only with 3 team fouls, so they got to foul a couple times to get Gonzaga on the line, and any one of those fouls will take precious time away. You figure if you put Gonzaga on the line, who again is a sensational free throw shooting team, 80% as a team, and everyone out there on the floor, a pretty good margin. Don't know who you want to foul here if you're Eastern. They're all good shooters that are out there on the floor right now. Hollingsworth, 88%. Kaylin Trong, 75%. Egypt, 88%. Brenna Maxwell, you don't want to foul her.
Yeah. Well, I guess it kind of makes it easy, right? You don't want to foul them, but if you have to, just foul one of them.
Eastern will look for a steal here. Zags got to get it in. They get it to Maxwell. Maxwell's fouled. 13.9 seconds remaining. They'll have to foul again to get Gonzaga on the line. So you avoid danger of putting Maxwell on, at least for now, unless the Zags can get it to her a second time. What a battle this has been. If there was any doubt that these were the favorites in their respective conferences, I feel like it's been a race tonight.
Yes.
Another inbound for Gonzaga. Need to get it in clean and get it fouled. Ooh, bounce pass into Kaylin Trong. She got it. Little bit of a dangerous pass there, but a little sister telepathy, knowing exactly where the other one was going to go.
I think so too, because when I saw the pass go in, I thought, oh no, but hey, it went right to her sister's hands. They knew what they were doing.
Kaylin Trong will go to the line. She's 3 of 4 tonight. She came into this game 18 of 24.
Shooting 2 for Gonzaga.
2 will make it a 2-possession game. Crowd trying to shake her confidence. It's good on the first. 3-point lead for Gonzaga.
You see Coach Fortier telling the rest of the team, saying, hey, no foul, you guys, no foul. Tough defense, no foul.
Jody Gleason has 2 timeouts to use if she chooses. Second free throw is good. And Coach Gleason will use that timeout. Massive free throws down the line. And you just go back to the fundamentals, Michelle. I mean, good bounce pass to make the good boxing out. I mean, we've seen it in spades tonight from both these teams. Gonzaga just executing here in the last minute. And you go back to that defense by Callie Stokes down here on Loetta to not foul and just affect that shot just enough, not going for the block and getting the untimely foul. Just great.
And to that point, you know, just that sound fundamentals, understanding what needs to get done, you know, score and clock, we've seen a different Gonzaga just really locked in these last 3 minutes that we haven't really seen throughout the entirety of the game. But I think what we're seeing in this last 3 minute stretch is a very seasoned senior team that knows what they're doing.
So the timeout advances the ball, so Eastern Washington has a chance to get a quick shot off here. Skip pass. J.D. Martin inside. Aaliyah Alexander spins, puts it up, and scores. 9.6 seconds left. It's a 2-point game. Kaylee Trong throws it out of bounds. No, she doesn't. Kaylin Trong saved it, and Jamie Luetta called timeout. Oh my goodness, Eastern Washington will have a chance here.
What just happened right there, Austin? That was a huge turn of events. Well played by Eastern to recognize it. You see Coach Gleason look over and called her timeout right away, like, oh, okay, that ball's ours. Give me a timeout. We got another chance.
It feels like Gonzaga had already done the hard part. They got the rebound. Kaylee Trong, you'll see it here. Or not the rebound. They took the ball out of the net, I should say, and quickly got it in. But then Kaylee Trong, looking for Kaylin, threw it wide. Kaylin tried to save it just to keep time going. Luetta was right there and a quick timeout. So they'll put 7.8 seconds, 2 to tie, 3 to win. A big decision coming here. And remember, another foul puts puts Eastern Washington on the line.
Yep. In 7.8 seconds, Austin, that's plenty of time to execute a quick play and get a good look. This game might go into overtime.
It could. As I think they're just confirming the time over there at the scores table. And what smart coaching there to go. You always hear you don't need a three, and situations like this are exactly why. Easter didn't take too much time trying to draw up a perfect play to get an open three. They quickly got it into Alexander, who, by the way, is now up to 19 points with that last make.
Yeah, she's had a great game for the Eagles tonight.
They're still conferring over there at the scorers table, and now they'll wave the teams out of their respective huddles. .8 remaining. Eastern Washington will have the basketball inbounding near their own bench. There you see Lisa Fortier going toe-to-toe with her former coach. Eastern Washington looking to get it in. They finally do. Buckley, here's Luetta. 5 seconds left. Luetta through traffic. Kick to the corner for the lead off the side of the backboard, and that's how it ends. Eastern Washington had a look, but Gonzaga will hold on and win a thriller in Cheney.
And the way Eastern shot the ball tonight, I thought that thing was going to go down. How many of those corner threes went in for Eastern tonight, and that one just wasn't part of the game plan.
Jaleesa Lawrence, after the night she had, it's terrible it had to end like that. But off the side of the backboard, my, what a game, Michelle. Oh my goodness.
Gonzaga really snuck out with that one. Eastern, wow. I mean, they came to play. They are going to be a dominant team in the Big Sky. I'm excited to see what else they do in this preseason play and then what they do once they hit, tournament time.
And who knows, with the way these two teams are playing, at least right now, we could see them in the big tournament later this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if we see both of them.
So Gonzaga gets out of Cheney with an 82-80 win. They extend their win streak over Eastern to 18 in a row. Last half minute here, Michelle, just a quick one more takeaway.
One more takeaway, I would say, hey, Eastern came to play. That was fun to watch. One of the best Eastern basketball teams we have seen in a while. Gonzaga, that was a good test for them to say, hey, you cannot just show up. You've got to come to play every game.
That'll do it for us here. For our entire crew, Austin Getz saying thanks for joining. We'll see you next time here on SWX.